Actually, I have to highlight something that during the wars in Islam, the Messenger of Allah, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he said about the morals and instructions during the war. He recommended the Islam not to kill the innocent people, the women, the sick, the children, not to mutilate the dead bodies. And he recommended that I advise you to have pardon and forgiveness for those who surrender, and for those who are captives. And also you have to be gentle with them, kind, and feed them. This is not happening in Syria with the Takfiri. That proves that they have nothing to do with Islam. They are like Khawarija or outside of Islam.
And we see the propaganda of the Wahhabi supporting TV stations in the Arabic world, purposefully using these loaded terms of Bedouin versus Druze, when, as we started this whole discussion, the Druze are Bedouin.
We are all coming from a tribal community.
We are one.
We are one.
And now we hear them, trying to blame the Bedouin tribes. Well, it's really ISIS that took off their Velcro sticker here, became al-Nusra, became HTS, became right now supposedly Bedouin tribes. And this is, for me, I am a Bedouin, like all of the Arabs, and a person from Deir ez-Zor and the history of my family. Exactly. This is a denial of all of this history and an attempt to poison this relationship between all our communities together. Hey everybody, this is Laith Marouf from Free Palestine TV, and we are in Aabey village in the mountains of Lebanon. Before we continue with this report, I'd like you to press the subscribe button on whatever social media platform you're watching this, and to go to our website, freepalestine.video, to donate so we can continue bringing these reports. I know that everybody that's watching this wants us to talk about my arrest over the last 3 days, but this is not the reason we're here today. We had pre-organized this interview and this tour of this region, and we will continue doing this work. We will not allow it to be delayed because of that arrest. So I'm happy to have with us today in Aabey Liliane Hamze, author, fiction author, who is from this town. And Liliane, thank you very much for being with us on this tour. Liliane is going to be explaining to us the history of the Druze population, or what in Arabic would be called al-Muslimun al-Muwahhidun, Unitary or Unificationist Muslims in the region, their history of support and leadership in liberation and unification of our people all the way back. Liliane, Allah khalliki, shukran for this time that you're giving us.
Thank you, Laith, for having me with Free Palestine TV, and you're welcome in Aabey. This mountainous village that's very rich in history. We're gonna explain a lot about the ancestors of the Unitarian Druze faith, starting from this village because it's very symbolic, as it was the capital of the Tanukhi Emirate, which is the ancestors of the Tanukhids, the Hotait, and the Arslanis, who were cousins. They are the roots of the Unitarian Druze sect.
And for our viewers that are mostly in the West, that have no understanding of these terms that you just used, and some of our own communities are starting to forget these histories. Who were the Tanukhi that are the origin of our brothers and sisters in this region?
Yes, actually, this this history and the facts involved are like kind of forgotten. But thank you for letting me giving me the chance to explain further. The Tanukhids were originally from Yemen. They fled Yemen after the collapse of Marib Dam, and they settled, or they came to Iraq and then to Syria. And from Syria, they were assigned to come to the mountains of Lebanon to protect this area from the Byzantine, Romans, and Crusader invasion. So their major role was to repel the invasions from the shores of Beirut against this area. And that's why they were always known as Hotait al-Thughur, which means the guardians of the borders. So their role in this region was to be fighters for the sake of Arabs and their Arab identity. And till this moment, they are still fixed and on this point and this identity.
We are in the village public park, which is very beautiful, obviously, but there's a special thing in this park. If we can go down to see it, and as we get to it, we'll mention what we're going to be seeing. But one of the reasons we're going to, go to this tree is the fact that there's a connection not only between this history, which we will detail more in Lebanon, of our brothers and sisters from the Unitary Muslims, but also how the wider community across this land, not only in Mount Lebanon, have been leaders in defending Arab liberation and Palestinian liberation. So tell us about what we're going to go see right now.
We're going to see the tree that was implanted for the iconic martyr and fighter Samir al-Kuntar. We in Aabey, in collaboration with the Association of Shabab, implanted this tree as a memorial for his legacy. And as many of you know, that Samir Kuntar was born a rebel. He took a journey by boat to Naharia in the occupied Palestine in order to carry out an operation. The operation goal was to capture certain Israeli soldiers in order to reach out later for a prisoner exchange. However, unfortunately, the operation failed and two Israeli policemen were killed, which ended up by the arrest of Samir al-Kuntar. That was in 1979 in Naharia. And the Israeli occupation refrained from releasing Samir al-Kuntar. And Samir al-Kuntar stayed in prison for almost 30 years. That's why he was called like the colonel of prisoners in the Israeli prisons. Samir al-Kuntar is originally from Aabey. His house is quite close to my house. He's almost a neighbor. At the age of 17, he joined the Palestinian liberation movement. And from Jordan, he went on to the occupied Palestine. And when Samir al-Kuntar was released, he refrained from joining any political entourage or party. He preferred to take a fighting role, a resistance role, and he had in mind that he has to liberate the Golan Heights that was originally predominantly Druze, and even the Druze there refrain from receiving the Israeli identity. They still have the Syrian identity. So he formed the Druze resistance in Quneitra or Golan, and that led to his assassination by Israel.
Yes, and this is obviously another thing that people need to understand is our brothers and sisters in the Golan Heights, even with the fall of the Syrian government and Damascus to the hands of these Wahhabi Contras, Wahhabi death squads, they still today refuse to take the citizenship of the Zionist colony. Liliane,
like continuous confrontations are going every now and then with the Israeli occupying forces.
So we're going to walk right now to another important location in Aabey to talk more about this, and we'll carry on this conversation. So Liliane, we are in front of a water spring that clearly is marking history. Tell us about this, and what we see here are the symbols and the name of the village.
Actually, this is the authentic identity of this village, Aabey, and of the Tanukhids. It symbolizes the two lions. The two lions symbolize the guardians of the borders. As I said earlier, Humat al-Sughur. So they came here to this region to protect against the Byzantine and the Crusades invasions. And that's why you can see the chain. So they're breaking the chains and protecting this land. So you can see this symbol in front of every authentic and ancient house or building in Aabey.
And of course they have the traditional Druze mustaches, these amazing lions. And the name Aabey, what does it mean?
Aabey, if you go to the Aramic language, it's derived from the land that's thick with trees and rich and abundant. So that's Aabey.
Yes, like abaya. It's a cover, a green cover.
The green area.
Yes,
green trees.
Okay, so we are right now beside. Obviously, this water spring is dedicated for people to give their blessings.
Yes.
To
this is originally the Tanukhi Palace. Okay, and here. As the historians stated, that you can see from the holes above, on top of or on the sides of the building, that massive building behind, they used to employ arrows to shoot against the Byzantines coming from the shores. And
so this is where the archers would be aiming from those slots in the top of the. So this is
the Tanukhi Palace.
Yes.
And you can see also the symbol, the guardians of the borders.
Perfect. And now it's obviously been purchased like for private property, and they do some events that are traditional inside this place.
True.
And just down the street there, we're going to walk a minute to the shrine of al-Sayyid Abdalla Tanukhi, which that water spring was dedicated for people to send their blessings to.
عش أنت إني مت بعدك وأطل.
One thing that probably is very important for us to tell about for the audience that doesn't have all this history is the important, crucial role of the Druze population in Greater Syria in defending against colonialism and the occupation by the French and the English. And for those who don't know, from our viewers, my grandfather is al-Arfi, the former Mufti of Deir al-Zur and the Jazeera, and he was the friend and buddy of Amir Sultan al-Atrash in the Syrian Great Revolution against French occupation. Let us tell the audience about that role of Sultan al-Atrash in liberating Syria from French occupation.
As you may know, to put this in other words, the Druze community across the Levant, as we can say, in Lebanon, Syria, occupied Palestine, and Jordan, consider Sultan Pasha al-Atrash as an iconic leader in their history and a source of pride because he confronted the French colonization and initiated the grand Syrian revolt against the French mandate. And as a lot of people may not know that a guest who was named Adham Khanjar, who sought refuge from Lebanon to Syria, and for being he was accused of assassinating General Gouraud. So he sought refuge at Sultan Pasha al-Atrash place.
And General Gouraud, for those who don't know, was the colonial ruler
exactly, in the Levant. And Sultan Pasha al-Atrash wasn't there at home when he knew that Adham Khanjar was arrested by the colonial power. He felt that there was a torture to the dignity of the Druze, so he asked the colonial powers to release Adham Khanjar, and they refused. So he launched this revolt against the colonial power that extended from 1922 till 1927, when Syria was liberated from the French rule, and this constituted to the reformulation of the current Syria, the United Syria and Arab Syrian Republic.
And this is very important also for us to remind everybody that our brothers and sisters from the Druze population have, not only called the mountain as the mountain of the Arabs to identify their pride and their belonging in this history, but also they, as we started from the Tanukhin themselves, Bedouin Arabs like those of Deir al-Zur. So when we hear all this now propaganda being thrown purposefully, this identifier, Bedouin versus Druze, is a colonial conceptualization that is there only to divide us.
Exactly. Actually, all Arabs, including Druze, are originally Bedouins. So there's a falsification of the truth that there is a sectarian division between the Druze sect and the Bedouins. Here we are in the shrine of Sayyid Abdalla, Amir Sayyid Abdalla al-Tanukhi. He was a revered Islamic spiritual leader and a reference for all the Druze across the world. He was originally Tanukhi, and he went in the past to Syria, where he was given the title of Sayyid as the honor. They honored him by the Sayyid title.
Maybe we'll go in, if we can, to quickly pay our respects.
Okay.
And then we can carry this conversation.
You have to be barefoot.
Yes. We have to follow all the traditions. And again, there is this propaganda that tries to separate Muslimun al-Muwahhidun from Muslims, and only those Takfiris, those Wahhabis are the ones that refuse to identify Druze as Muslims, while the Druze themselves say they are Muslims, Unitary Muslims that unify us all together.
It's very important to note here that Amir al-Sayyid Abdalla al-Tanukhi was quite knowledgeable in the Islamic fiqh, and he set the the headlines of the Druze book, and that's why there's no division between Druze community and Islamic community. It's all correlated. Okay, we can enter, and you may see that we have the same rituals as entering a mosque. Okay. Here you may see the shrine of Amir al-Sayyid Abdalla al-Tanukhi, and in the next side, it's his son, Saifuddin Abdalla al-Tanukhi.
Liliane, this is the second place, burial inside the shrine. You were telling us this is
the shrine. This is a shrine of the son of Sayyid Abdalla al-Tanukhi. His name was Saifuddin. This shrine was built next to his father's because he passed away on the day of his wedding. And his father, Amir al-Sayyid, had made a gathering, a ceremony, and invited everyone for lunch, all the people in the village. However, he didn't want to distort the moment that his son was dead, so he kept everyone happy, enjoying the celebration. And after that, he announced the death of his son. And he said, thank goodness for we're doomed to be patient, and maybe it's a blessing for us, we have to be patient.
Sabr Ayyub, Jacob's.
Yes.
And we see how beautiful this place is, how beautiful the smell.
It's very peaceful.
Very peaceful. And we see also all these Quranic verses everywhere.
We focus a lot in our sect about the importance of the mind, the brain, to be wise. Wisdom is the highest reference in our faith. That's why we always seek to be wise and on good terms with everyone.
And connected to our soul and to the word
to the word. The word is a responsibility. We have to be aware of every word we say, so that we won't hurt others, and we won't say something we don't have to say.
And of course, part of the word is carrying history.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to do today, inform people about this history through these words that carry this responsibility. Well, there's something else that happened in this shrine, in what our enemies and the propaganda of the West would like to call a civil war in Lebanon. Tell us about how this shrine was targeted.
We have to go back to 1982. The Western media and propaganda name it civil war, yet we call it the Israeli invasion in 1982, when Israel invaded and reached Beirut, reaching the mountain area. During this war, Israel used a proxy war at the same time. Certain Lebanese militia were backed by Israel, and they invaded this area. Let me call Israel invaded at the first place this area, and there was a kind of resistance against these forces, these occupying forces, and we have to tell a lot about the epic of the Druze in this area, who carried out a lot of operations against the occupation. Namely, if you have ever heard about the operations against buses or military carriers, military personnel carriers that were targeted by Druze fighters after a lot of planning, and they were the implementers of this operation, they used to control the time when these forces used to pass every day and record it.
These are the Israeli convoys going through here.
Exactly. And namely, there was an operation carried out in Aramoun and another one in Alay, and that targeted buses in which around more than 40 Israeli soldiers were killed, and that made a quantum leap in the progress of the war for the sake of the Druze community. And later on led to the withdrawal of the Israeli forces. Another operation was carried by Rashid Hamze, Martyr Rashid Hamze, who was a leader of Aabey. Aabey Axis, they called it the leader of Aabey Axis. He made the Ainab operation, in which he implanted explosives on the roadside, and he linked it to the wires of the electricity. And at that time, the Israeli tanks used to cross, and their antennas or their wireless
communication
or their wired triggers used to be in contact with the invisible explosive, and the tank used to explode.
It's like a wire trap that he would put.
Exactly.
Yes.
And this was like a very significant operation, very smart, and at that time a lot has like many historians documented that the Israeli and the U.S. troops used to pass later on with their tanks without with their wired
the antenna
down. So after this operation was carried out.
And eventually, because the Israelis were unable, as always, to fight against people of the land and have any real military victories, as we see in Gaza or here in Lebanon in 2023 and the Solidarity Front, the Israelis used their proxies, as they're doing today, and that is the Falang. And for those who don't understand the word Falang, it comes from the naming of the fascist party in the Spanish Revolution years. And here we have this Christian supremacist party that calls themselves Falang, happily and willingly. What did the Falang do to the shrine here?
Actually, this armed group destroyed this shrine, and as you may see it's like rebuilt after the war ended. unfortunately, as you said, Israelis always use the opposing Lebanese or other communities, and they trigger or incite kind of sectarian violence against each other. I believe that ignorance in regards of the enemy led the Lebanese to go through this war and fight each other. And the only one who was who took advantage of it was the Israeli. So I hope, and let's hope, that one day the Arab people in general will take a moral out of it and to unite instead of embracing the Israeli propaganda.
And of course, what we're doing here is reminding everybody of our history, our glorious history of communal struggle against occupation and colonization that goes back all the way to thousands of years, not only from this new period. And that is knowledge, the word, is what will protect our communities from being manipulated mentally by all this propaganda that is there. So we're going to go right now to another location and we'll tell another story of this struggle to unify our people and how the community in Aabey and the Druze community have been crucial to that.
Let's go.
So we are at the entrance of the Capuchin church, and it says 1645.
1645, it was constructed back then. Yes, this shows the diversity in Aabey. As you may see, it's quite close to the shrine of Amir Sayyid Abdalla Tanukhi. And here is the Capuchin church. And actually there are many other churches in Aabey, but this is the closest to Amir Sayyid.
And for our viewers that don't understand, the Capuchin Christian Catholics are very pro-liberation in the region. And there is one of the heroes of Palestinian, Syrian, and Lebanese liberation. Let's tell them about him.
Actually, we have the Archbishop Gregorius Haddad, who was originally from Aabey, and he was pro-Palestine, he used to advocate for the people who are under persecution and torture everywhere in the world, but basically in Palestine. Yes, as you may see, this village is very rich in its elites, its religious or spiritual leaders, and it's also like social and political leaders as well.
You see, I see the land here, they're growing food, most probably to serve the needy in the area.
Basically grapes.
They may make wine also to sell.
Yes.
Beautiful land, beautiful land. We walked through the church property and we're now on the other side of it. This is what looks like to me as an old school. Explain to me, what is this history of this school?
Okay, this is literally the old school of Aabey, the public school. It's owned by the Capuchin church. In the past, before the Christians returned to the village, it was the public school, but when they returned, the municipality of Aabey built another public school. But I have to point one thing here, that last year, when the Israeli aggression against Lebanon occurred, This school hosted the Lebanese displaced from the south and from Bekaa.
And we can see still some of the coverings on the windows that most probably families used to shade
Yes.
themselves during their stay here as internally displaced. There was a lot of propaganda out there from internal haters and also external haters about the solidarity within the Lebanese communities, and especially our brothers and sisters in the Druze community. Aabey, how was its response to the internal displaced situation?
Okay, I want to picture the situation in general in regards of this area, not only Aabey, how it hosted the Lebanese displaced during the war. There was a lot of solidarity expressed towards our brothers and sisters from South and Bekaa. I know, and unfortunately and sadly, there were a lot of rumors that distorted this image, and there was like that kind of propaganda that the Druze aren't welcoming the Shiites coming to this area, and like the rent was excessive and above the norm. However, of course, there are a lot of people in every community that like to trade, but the portion was quite low. The majority of the people hosted and welcomed from all their heart our people coming from the scourge of war. And here in this school, basically, it was like the windows were broken, all the windows, because it's quite old. A lot of people who always have good in their hearts collaborated to refix and install the windows and welcomed and opened the doors of this school. You can't imagine, Laith, the night when on the 23rd of September, when all the people were coming without anything in their hands. There were no sheets, no bed covers, nothing to sleep on, nothing to wear on. The solidarity that I witnessed was amazing. The people, everyone from their houses, gathered food, clothes, bed sheets, mattresses, and offered to the people who are here. It was a historical moment in history that really proved solidarity, and that that our hurt is one, and that the enemy is one.
And this school wasn't the only place that was opened up in Aabey and other places. You know, we walked beside the orphanages and other places.
Opened its doors, and down this school, there was the vocational school that is actually owned by the Druze orphanage school, and it hosted also the rest of the people that didn't find accommodation here, so they were hosted there. And I have to tell you something, in the whole area, not only in Aabey, in Kfar Matta, in Bennay, in Baysur, in Ain Ksur, everywhere, there were field kitchens, and the women from our villages used to cook for the displaced people and offer daily meals. That was like very sensual at that moment.
Oh, this is blackberry, it seems like.
Yes.
Oh, haram. We're going to step on it a little bit.
Okay.
But so this solidarity clearly, you know, was widespread, and alhamdulillah, I believe, you know, the communities coming together during this war probably healed a lot of wounds, especially from this propaganda that accumulated over the decades by the Zionists and their collaborators in the region and inside Lebanon. What a beautiful view onto the sea, and we can see there the airport of Beirut.
Yes, actually you can see here the suburban area of Beirut, Dahye, and I cannot forget the 27th of September when I watched from the balcony of my house the red flames, and it was the assassination of the leader Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah. We cannot erase this moment of history. It was like tragedy. We lost as Arabs who believe in the righteousness of the Palestinian people and the persecuted people. We lost this iconic leader because today we found that everything he said, he had a vision, he had insight, foresight about what's happening now. And everything he said is quite tangible now, unfortunately.
Al-Basira, as they would call it in Islam, which is this foresight to understand how history works. We made it to Al-Mutayr hilltop. It's the highest point in the village, in the region here. Explain to us its importance, this hilltop.
Okay. This is the highest point in Aabey. As you said, it's the hilltop of Mutayr. It was considered the most unique and strategic vantage point that overlooks the Shuf mountain. And then from this side, it overlooks the coast and occupied Palestine. And from this side, it overlooks Cyprus. That's why the Tanukhids and Buhturids first settled here for its strategic location.
So they can see the ships coming of the Crusaders and the Byzantines when they're trying to invade.
So true.
There was battles that were fought here, or like strategically defending from here?
Just it was a point of defense against the Crusade invasion, but from the coast, from the shores, not from this point in specific. We mentioned earlier about the operations that were held by the locals in Aabey and in the mountain region. However, there were other operations against the Israeli occupation outside Aabey. For one of the operations was carried out by the martyr Liliane Hamze. It was a female icon for the Druze. She carried out an operation against Israelis in Sheba, South Lebanon, along with her comrades in the Communist Party. And she martyred on the spot. Another Druze martyr that was Wajdi al-Sayyid. Actually, Wajdi al-Sayyid, he was in a secular party, the SSNP. However,
the Syrian Social Nationalist Party.
Yes. However, he originated from a deep-rooted Arab community, the Druze community that believed in the pan-Arab unity against the occupation.
And that shows, obviously, that how again, how important the Muwahhidun community, not only in religious resistance or Arab nationalism, but even Syrian nationalism.
True.
The Druze, the Alawis, the Orthodox, the secularist Arabs who are Syrians, Greater Syria people were all crucial part of this foundation. And for us, at least, and I'm sure you agree with this, Liliane, we wish anybody to find any source of inspiration for their resistance against occupation, no matter what their root. That's what's important to us. Can you resist occupation, colonialism, Zionism, and imperialism? And this brings us to the reality right now. We're looking at what's happening in Syria,
In Suwayda mainly.
in Suwayda, in the mountain of the Arabs, and how the imperialists and the Zionists are trying to put a wedge between our communities again. This, calamity that is befallen our brothers and sisters in Suwayda, how is this now affecting realities here for the community in Lebanon?
Yes, let's start with the current situation in Suwayda. It's quite critical. All the Takfiri armed groups are launching attacks against the enclosed area in Suwayda, which is predominantly from the Unitarian Druze faith. Unfortunately, the media is trying to spread the narrative that only Bedouins are fighting against in Daraa, are fighting against the Druze in Suwayda. Though the number is very slight, yet the main people who are launching attack are Takfiri, people who are coming from all over the world, the hardliners, what we call the Islam, political Islam.
And Islam is innocent of them.
Exactly. Actually, I have to highlight something that during the wars in Islam, the messenger of Allah, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he said about the morals and instructions during the war. He recommended the Islam not to kill the innocent people, the women, the sick, the children, not to mutilate the dead bodies. And he recommended that I advise you to have pardon and forgiveness for those who surrender, and for those who are captives. And also you have to be gentle with them, kind, and feed them. This is not happening in Syria with the Takfiri. That proves that they have nothing to do with Islam. They are like Khawarija or outside of Islam.
And we see the propaganda of the Wahhabi supporting TV stations in the Arabic world, purposefully using these loaded terms of Bedouin versus Druze, when, as we started this whole discussion, the Druze are Bedouin.
We are all coming from a tribal community.
We are one.
We are one.
And now we hear them, trying to blame the Bedouin tribes. Well, it's really ISIS that took off their Velcro sticker here, became al-Nusra, became HTS, became right now supposedly Bedouin tribes. And this is, for me, I am a Bedouin, like all of the Arabs, and a person from Deir ez-Zor and the history of my family.
Exactly.
This is a denial of all of this history and an attempt to poison this relationship between all our communities together. So we heard obviously a lot of ramifications here in Lebanon for these events.
Yes.
Briefly, so we can show even how these colonial borders that don't really exist are affecting our reality still today.
Okay, before that, I need to mention one golden rule for the Druze community. They say that the one who initiates aggression is not one of us, and then the one who does not repel the aggression is not one of us. So basically, in short, the Druze community always protect themselves against any aggression, and they do not attack others. That's what's happening now in Syria, and what happened earlier in other battles. What's going on, to give a broader image about the influence of the situation in Syria on Lebanon. Actually, the Druze community is unified at the moment, and they all say that we stand behind our spiritual leaders. And apparently, the political leadership, the historical leadership known currently, they are struggling to maintain their presence and their authority. And each leader, Druze leader, is coming out with a certain stance. For instance, like Walid Jumblat is maneuvering in this situation. He's trying to keep connections and channel with the current Syrian regime, represented by the ex-Qaeda leader Julani, who's recently was named Ahmad al-Shara.
And the Shara family are also, don't.
They are deep-rooted in the regime.
And they say they have nothing to do, and they don't know this person even as belonging to their
There's
family.
no family tree for this person, actually. So from the point of view of Walid Jumblat, I can't talk on his behalf, but I believe that he's like trying to maneuver in order to protect the Druze, but he failed to do so. Because there is a certain agenda planned prior to this time, and now the implementation came. On the other hand, Amir Talal Irslan is like trying to prevent any kind of incitement of religious battles between Sunnis and the Druze. So they're trying to make balance. But the spiritual leaders are backing the resistance in the concept of resistance of the Unitarian Druze in Suwayda, because they are fighting for their survival. They are in a closed area. There are no food, no water, shortage of electricity. There's no access. They don't have any access to any life tools.
Almost 2 weeks of no even medical supplies.
Exactly. So what's happening now is completely different from what happened on the Syrian coast. Like the geography at the Syrian coast, the ones who, the Alawites who sought refuge to the mountains, there were plants, there were trees where they can feed. But this is completely different from the situation in Suwayda, and this is quite critical. The political leaders here called for the Arab leaders to intervene to stop this kind of genocide, but no one responded, and we're still in this dilemma. And let's hope that Suwayda will stay rigid. And I believe that the people here are tough fighters. They never surrender. That's deeply rooted in our faith, and they will fight till the end, till the last breath. But I believe if Suwayda, may God forbid, falls in the hands of the Takfiri, the whole situation in the Levant will remain volatile, and there will be a division for Syria. And this is what we originally refrain to accept. We believe in the united land of Syria with all its components and religions.
And this goes back all the way to where we started this discussion with Amir Sultan al-Atrash and his refusal of the division at that time of Syria under the sectarian cantons of Alawi canton, a Druze canton, and the Christian canton in Lebanon, and so forth. And today, our brothers and sisters in the Golan Heights crossed the fabricated border and came to the defense of Suwayda, again showing that they are still proud of their Syrian and Arab roots. Liliane, we took a lot of your time.
I need to mention one thing, that what's happening, just a final point, what's happening in Syria, it doesn't have to do with any of the sects. It's an Israeli agenda, Israeli-American agenda. What we have heard a lot in the news about the David Corridor, Balfour Declaration was announced in 1917, but it was implemented on the ground in 1948 by al-Nakba. However, this agenda represented by the David Corridor, that's an agreement between the current Syrian regime, the US and Israel and Turkey, in order to let the oil pipeline come from Azerbaijan to Israel directly from the Turkish territory.
So they don't have to anymore steal the oil of Iraq and Syria and Azerbaijan, pump it through Turkey on ships to
and of
to
course
the Zionist
Turkey
colony.
has its share from this from this cake. She wants to confiscate it. Turkey wants to confiscate the areas like Idlib, Aleppo, Kirkuk, and Nineveh. So that's the agenda, and let's hope it will not succeed.
Well, Liliane, there's so much to talk about, and we would love to have you one more time to sit down with us in a wartime cafe where we can go in depth on all of these current issues, because we wanted today to give our audience all this historical background to help them get to the current affairs that we will talk in Wartime Cafe. And then we will also talk about your history, your amazing work, and your new upcoming novel, inshallah, that will help everybody have a historical also again record to fall back to. Liliane,
thank you so much.
Shukran jazilan. Inshallah, we will see you soon. You're still watching Free Palestine TV. I'm Laith Marouf, your host. Behind the camera is Hadi, Hotait. Please, I ask you to press the subscribe button one more time on whatever social media you're watching this on, and to go to our website, freepalestine.video, to donate so we can continue bringing you this content. And until we see you next time, we bid you a free Palestine.